What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Mommy Needs a Break because, you know, just like most moms, we don't have it together. We're trying to get it together, but this is our time to take a little break, and we're so glad that you're taking a break with us. I'm Megan Thomas at Make Scoop all over the internet.
And I'm Marisa Johnson at She Is Marisa J.
And if you want to follow our podcast, which you should, just hit us up on at MNAB Podcast. That's Mommy Needs a Break, MNAB Podcast. On all your social media, y'all, we have gone through it today, okay?
It's a crazy day.
From family stuff to, like, technical difficulties with our podcast.
But we made it. We're here.
And we're like, whoo, Lord, we need a break. We're taking a break.
Right.
Really?
No, but we're here, right?
For sure. So today we're going to be talking about some stuff like, should you tell your kids to believe in Santa or the Tooth Fairy? Like, that's a good one. And also motherhood and career. How do you balance it? Is balancing a real thing or is it a lie? We're going to talk about that and more.
But before we get into that, it's Ain't No Shame, where we have our mommy confessions.
Yeah.
So today, ain't no shame in not knowing how to comb your baby's hair.
Ooh.
So actually, Megan brought this up to me yesterday. She was like, "Oh, I can tell when your mommy has has halo," and I was like, "Why? Because her hair."
Yes, because Halo's hair be laid when grandma has her.
I know.
And I see the pictures that she'll post and be like, oh, her grandma had her.
Yeah, but my mom had 5 kids, 4 girls, so she has a lot of experience with the hair. But then when she was here the other week, I realized, because she's always like, just use water and product, get it really good, soak up the product, and just brush it. I do that. I promise you, I do that. But I caught her the other day with hairspray. So her she uses hairspray. I only use 2 sprays. I'm like, Mom, Halo's head is like this big. 2 sprays is like the whole head. Like you are literally spraying down her hair. I didn't know that she used hairspray. So that's her trick. And like she shames me for every photo I take of her. We post on Instagram. You know, she just got the little cute baby fly waves out, whatever. But she uses hairspray. So, whatever. Ain't no shame.
Girl, you can pull a hairspray in there. There's some like organic ones.
Yeah, I'll look into it. But I'm just like, why are you using hairspray on her hair?
That is so
She's
funny.
a baby.
Why her hair be like?
Yeah, it looks great.
I don't have a daughter, so that's why I'm like, whatever. Okay, there ain't no shame in not using a baby wipe when you change your baby's diaper. I have a boy, so it's different. I'm pretty sure it's different with girls because I feel like girls have an innie. You gotta like get in and clean everything, you know. And as women, we always use toilet tissue like when we pee, but for boys, like men shake and go, right? So I guess my logic with like if Mav just pees in his diaper, I'd be like, all right, let's just dry it off and put a new one on. Let's go.
Wait, is this because like you don't want to go get the wipes? Or
No, the wipes are right there. But I really don't want him to get like diaper rash.
Yeah.
And I think for me, what I do is I'll like end up like because I just like to make sure he's super dry. And if I wipe him down with, I mean, obviously when he poops, I use the wipe. But like after maybe like 2 or 3 pees, then maybe I'll use a wipe again because he's not sitting in poop or
right.
So like for guys, if they don't use tissue to wipe off.
Save some money.
Right.
I have a question. Do you smell your baby's butt like when you clean it?
I do.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd be like, is there any poop residue left?
I remember doing that and I was like,
but it's a little scary like with a boy because in that pee.
Oh yeah.
Mad projectile peed on me today and I was like, we're one. We're past this stage, brother.
Right. It's probably pee smells now and does it smell?
It does.
Oh,
it's poop smell.
No.
Ugh, he's just a real man now at this point. Alright, you guys, it's time for some mommy tips. Now these are things that we learned along the way. So we want to share them. And mine is about giving kids a toddler tattoo. Okay? It's very helpful when you're going to places like Disneyland, Disney World, or like a water park, when there's a lot of people and there's a high potential that they could like get lost. Yeah. So what you do is there's this company called Tattoos, Tottoos. Okay. Tattoos. And you order the tattoos basically like what you want to say on them, like, oh, if lost, call. And put your phone number. Or I have a peanut allergy. Or and you can use it for dementia patients, like if I'm lost, like so you just take the little tattoo that has your phone number or their allergy or whatever, put it on them, and then when you go, you know, to because that's my biggest fear is like losing my kid in the middle of a crowd. It's either that or like I have to get the little backpack that is a leash.
The leash, Terrell wanted me to buy that. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Okay, so here's the alternate option then. So don't put your kid on a leash. Just get them a little tattoo. If they get lost, you might call the number. All right, that's what it is.
I was gonna get that.
So yeah, it's TOTTOOS.org, tattoos.org.
This is not sponsored, by the way.
It's not, but it's helpful. I mean, as a mom, and then if you have a dementia like grandparent, great for them
That's
too.
really cool.
They have, now kids and grandma can have matching tattoos.
That's funny.
That's funny, right?
That's a good one. Okay, mine today is when you're wrong, own it. So if you make a mistake with your spouse, or even, I make so many mistakes in front of Halo, and I'm always like, I apologize, Halo, I apologize. And I think this will really help them understand that it's okay to make mistakes. Mommy makes mistakes, right?
Yeah.
You know, just acknowledge it. I'm really big. I don't like when Halo says, I'm sorry. I hate it. I think she might learn it from daycare, and I probably need to talk to her daycare lady.
Yeah.
But when she says, I'm sorry, it's something with that word.
Yeah, it's like saying, I'm a sorry person.
Exactly.
Like
so I try to tell her, like, no, Halo, I apologize. Say, I apologize. I apologize, Mommy. I apologize. So yeah, when you do something wrong with your kids, you know, just apologize and move on.
You're speaking to me because I'd be like, I ain't wrong ever, okay? Ever. I have that bad. My fiance tells me that all the time. He's
really?
Like, why don't you just own it? I'm like, because I didn't do that. I did this, but I didn't do that.
I didn't do that specific thing.
Right. I'd be like so specific about like what I did. And he's like, but you did all of this. I'm like, no, but that wasn't even, this is what I meant by that. Like I always have. Because I've been trying to defend myself. I feel like, I know, like but he's just like, man, you need to own when you mess up. And I'd be like, I did. I apologize. But I wanted to focus on this part and not the mess up.
I think the spouse is a whole different thing, but like with the babies, because they're watching us, it's like, ooh, Mommy made a mistake. I apologize, Halo. Or sometimes I'll grab her too hard. And she's like, I apologize, Mom. I didn't mean to. You know, I'm trying to do too much, and I'm like, let me stop.
Yeah.
I apologize, Halo. I apologize.
That's good.
So, just apologize.
I did that, and I had yelled at him. He was doing the most, as a little toddler boy does. And I was like, I just had a moment of frustration. I was like, stop it now! And he like, I never yell at him like that. So he like looked and was like,
what is this tone?
Okay, and then he like went over quietly and sat down. I was like, oh gosh. So I was like, that was a lot then for him to have changed his attitude. And his attitude, I'm too soft on him because I'm his mom, you know?
Yeah, I'm soft.
Right. But I was like, oh, that's what I need to do now to get you together. But I did say, I was like, I'm sorry. I mean, I apologize. I shouldn't have said that to you so loudly. I should have talked to you in a different tone.
Right.
He just was like, whatever. I just want to have my toy.
Whatever, Mom. That's funny. So those are mommy tips. Next, since you're already taking a break with us, our next segment is Let's Scroll.
Okay.
So today, I read an article in Too Fab about the best remakes in 2019. And then there was like Aladdin on there, Lion King, what else was on there? Dumbo. So my question is, with all these remakes and reboots, what shouldn't have been remade? Like what should have just been left alone? Just leave it there. I don't need to see a remake.
I will say this. I like the Aladdin remake, however,
I haven't seen it.
They shouldn't have tried to change the Peebo Bryson, Vanessa, the whole new world.
They changed it?
Well, they had the actor singing it.
Oh.
You ain't Peebo Bryson, Aladdin, 2019. So that's what I was a little perturbed about because I just felt like, y'all ain't never gonna do that song any justice.
Right.
Y'all should have just dubbed the old song
and just put it over.
Like, I know that ain't that man's voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you like The Lion King?
I liked it a lot, except Beyonce. Everyone says that. Beyonce is not the voice of, she's not an actress, guys. We use her in movies and stuff because she's Beyonce. Right. And Beyonce is attached to something we're going to watch. We're going to be a part of it. We're just talking about it because we love it. We love her. Right. But she's not a good actress. She wasn't good in The Fighting Temptations. She wasn't good in Austin Powers. She wasn't. Really? Hell, Foxy Brown. Like, come on, baby. Like, it just was so bad.
What about, what's the other, Cadillac, what was it called? When she sang, nothing.
But like, when she sings, yes. But outside of that.
Cadillac Records.
I remember she was Etta James, right? Yeah. She's just
Okay, so I guess it's a no.
And she's not an actress. She's just a singer that we really like. She's a performer. But I would say let's keep the acting to the thespians and the people who are like serious career actors.
Beyonce's Halo's fairy godmom, so like I can't even comment on that.
You should. If you can't act, you can't act.
I'm still here for you. What about Lion King was cool. It wasn't as exciting to me. Maybe because I'm an adult.
As the cartoon. Story.
Maybe. I mean, I was like, oh, he's about to die. But something about this whole look and feel to me was just like, I got more emotions when I watched the cartoon, and I felt like.
I think we also, because we were different,
old.
I feel like the children who watch it now for the first time, they're probably going to have that same nostalgic feeling we had.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Okay, so Aladdin was good, but keep the song the same.
Yeah, use Peebo Bryson's version of A Whole New World. And Lion King was great, just have Beyonce do the soundtrack only.
Okay, all right, there you go.
She was like, come on, Brian, let's go. She said that. She was like telling all the female lions to go fight. Come on, Brian, let's go. But she got the Houston drawl, y'all. There ain't nobody with a Houston drawl on the African Sahara, okay? Ain't nobody talking like that.
I can't with you.
Come on, Brian.
Stop.
I was sitting laughing and everybody was serious and I was cracking up.
She was ready. She was ready for action. Anyway.
I get it. I mean, I'll watch it again and I'll support her because I love her. Alright, so there's a new study that says that children who are told lies by their parents become liars as adults.
I believe it.
Because so basically, it's in the Journal of Experimental Child Psychology, and it says that adults who have been lied to more as children are more likely to be lying in adulthood. They face greater difficulty in meeting psychological and social challenges. They have difficulties which include disruptiveness, conduct problems, experience of guilt and shame, and selfish and manipulative character. Now that's a whole lot, because I feel like everybody's been lied to.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's probably why the cycle keeps going. So then I thought about this and I'm like, okay, well, lying means not telling the truth about something. So does this also cover Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy?
I believe so. I have had a really difficult time with how I feel like I wanted to approach holidays with her. Because, yeah, she's going to go to school. She's going to learn about these ridiculous holidays and how they should be traditionally celebrated or whatnot. But one, I don't want you thinking that Christmas comes around and you just get all these things and just spoiled. And two, it's like, I don't want you thinking that this random fat white man like bought all this stuff for you. Like, what? So I feel like what I'm going to do, and I actually heard this in the Faithful Central baby christening class. It was like, just ask your kids like to think logically about things. Like, I want Halo to really sit and think if she ever asks me like, well, what do you think? Do you think that there's a man who can like fly around the entire universe and drop off gifts? I mean, like, let me know.
That's smart.
So I want to challenge her to think logically about these things. It's like, you lose your tooth, who is flying around doing this? I mean, I just want her to be a practical person.
So, well, here's the thing. I grew up, I mean, as most black children, I didn't get to believe in Santa Claus.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, good for you.
In
good
the
for
South.
your parents.
That's not right. I was the 5-year-old in kindergarten telling all the other kids, like, y'all stupid because there is no Santa. I remember saying that. So I remember being on the bus in kindergarten and just looking around. Everybody's like, yeah, Christmas Santa's coming to my house. And I was like, there is no Santa. Y'all are dumb.
But you were enlightened. I think that's so great.
But now I'm ruining everybody else's Christmas.
Maybe. I know my mom always says, no, don't you want to like have magic, have her believe in magic? I'm like, she loves Mickey Mouse.
Isn't that Jesus? Isn't Jesus magic? That's
right.
Is that enough magic?
Right. But I just don't, it doesn't sit well with me.
I just,
I'm not really into it for
like,
kids.
Yeah, I mean, now we've decided not to let him believe in Santa because, again, ain't no fat white man coming to save you, okay? Coming down this chimney and giving you
life.
That's not real. Your parents worked hard for anything that you get, so you need to know this comes from us. And the holiday's about Jesus anyway. It ain't about this man.
Yeah.
All right. And I before said I wasn't gonna like take Santa pictures, but I did for this. I did, but I only did it with Black Santa. And so now going forward, Matt will never be on white Santa's lap to take a picture. And if we can't find a black Santa for that season, he won't be having a Christmas picture. Right.
No, actually, Santa swooped on Halo one time because I wasn't into that. And we were at a kid's birthday party in a mall, and Santa just so happened to walk in, and I was doing something. I came back, and she was on Santa's lap. I don't know who put her on there, and there's a picture of her with him, and I was like, who did that? But
open my top in this white man's lap.
Yeah, so I'm not with it.
Yeah. What about Tooth Fairy?
Nah.
So you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna put money under your pillow?
I mean, I'll think of something. Maybe it's just be like, okay, for every tooth you lose, you get $1. I mean, maybe I'll just tell her.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought that far.
I mean, why do we believe?
I think it's that's weird. My parents are weird. Why do they let me believe in the Tooth Fairy but not Santa? I just thought about that. For the longest time, I believed in the Tooth Fairy, and I don't even know how I found out that the Tooth Fairy wasn't real. See, that's probably why I messed up as an adult.
No, you know why? Because I lied to my mom one time, and I was like, I lost a tooth. Or no, I didn't tell her I lost a tooth, and there was no money under my pillow. I used to set traps for Santa Claus. Okay, I used to like set all these traps by the chimney. Like if he comes down and he'll hit this, and my mom used to get so mad at me. And I tell you, like the traits back then, she's like, oh, you're being bad. No, I was smart.
You were.
I was very smart, and I thought logically about things as a kid.
Exactly.
And I'm like, there's no way this man like went down this chimney and did not hit my booby trap. Okay.
Well then, wait. So that if you didn't believe in Santa, you wouldn't have even gone that far. You wouldn't even have done that creative thing and tried to figure out.
Well, I didn't believe her.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like that is at least you got to believe in Santa. So because of that, I was never setting no traps because I was like, oh, well, let me just get away from these. This is Dad's gifts. I try to open them. That's what I would do. I try to open my gifts and then like tape them back, and then he found out and gave my gifts away on Christmas.
I looked in my mom's closet because she said, "Don't look in it." Yeah. So I looked in it, and then we had. You remember those highlight books? Mm-hmm. It was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I drew the presents I saw verbatim with the colors and everything, and she wore my hat.
Not that you drew. What was there? These are the presents that I saw my son call. This is what we're getting. That's funny. That's really good though.
Whatever. So kid ain't Halo Brian believe in nothing but the Lord.
The Lord. That's it. Okay, so today we're talking about balancing career and motherhood because we have done both. Sometimes, actually a lot of times, not very well. And this started with like something that I found that like, okay, the cost of motherhood is rising. Because a lot of times we're like, oh, you know, like we're making more money when we're educated, so things should balance out. And it's not the case. Because new research shows that college-educated women in particular underestimate the demands of parenthood and have the most difficulty trying to balance it. And I was like, oh, educated women. And I think the reason, I mean, first of all, there's been a sharp decline in women who stay working after their first child. Like, you know, a lot of moms continue to work because they have to, but in the U.S., I think it says like 90% of women before they had a baby were working, and then a lot of researchers showed that they stopped working, and it was unplanned, so that they hadn't. And that was my situation.
Right.
I thought I was going to go right back after like 6 weeks. Well, actually, I think I took 3 months. I said I was going to do 3 months. Yeah. Girl, that third month in, I was like, oh gosh, I'm not ready to go back to work. I'm not mentally stable enough to go back. And apparently that happens a whole lot. Now, when they talk to the dads, they found that their beliefs about parenthood didn't change after they had kids.
They back at it.
Right. Because more than likely, women still do the bulk of the child care, which is crazy because, especially in two-earner families, like you would think, oh, well, we're a progressive family, we both work, we're both this, but a lot of people are sticking to stereotypical norms in the family, and so mom tends to do a little bit more than dads in those families. So I found that interesting. Now, the cost of child care has increased 65% since the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the reason why a lot of women are saying it doesn't make sense. If I'm going to, like, I might as well give up my career instead of paying to take my kid to child care for a year or so. Because that's so expensive. Yeah. And it doesn't match out. Yeah. Here's another interesting thing I found. 80% of women breastfeed, which is up from half. But the number of hours that parents spend on childcare has risen. Oh, I'm sorry. 80% of women breastfeed now, and that's a lot bigger than before, which adds to what women are, the unexpected and the unplanned issue of becoming moms when you're educated. Because now the amount of time it takes to breastfeed, like you have to think about, okay, this baby's on my boob every 2 to 3 hours. And then I'm supposed to go back to work. And now I got to put a pump on my boob. And then I'm supposed to be like this high-powered career woman. And I have to stop and pump my boobs and go back. Like, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah. And I've noticed even at work, they'll have the nursing rooms. I've seen that a lot of times, probably for that reason. Yep. Because there are some that go back right away. It's just,
and they have to. And I get it, but it's so tough. And so I think that's why, like, this article was like, millennial moms are facing the toughest issue, because they're just like, I had no clue that my life, I've waited later to have kids, which is usually the norm nowadays. It's up from back, 20, 30 years ago when people were having kids in their early 20s. Now it's like late 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah, that's true.
And so at this point, you're more educated. You're further along in your career. And it's just like, I wasn't ready for this, right? And the other thing I found that was really interesting, more women with degrees and demanding jobs have children, and they're likely to be married to a man who is the same way. So as a result, the dual earning couple feels the best choice is for one member, usually the mama, to step away from her job.
Sounds like my whole life.
That's when I read this article, I'm like, and I started thinking about myself, my friends. I was like, oh my gosh, it's usually mom who's like, it's kind of like a no-brainer. Like, all right, mom, you're the one who's gonna have to step away,
right?
Instead of dad. True. Like, ooh, shoot. So I really identified with this study because I was just like, this is my whole life. I've always wanted to be a mother, but I wasn't prepared.
To be a mom?
Like I didn't,
in your career?
It was just like, I didn't know it would be that much of a disconnect as to what I thought it would be.
Right. So I guess for people who don't know, like, our career and what we chose to do, I think it would be good to maybe say, what was your experience?
I would say, so I waited until 34 to have a baby.
Okay.
And what I was doing from the time I graduated college at 20 to like almost damn near 15 years was focused on my career. So I went from working at a public accounting firm in financial consulting. I went from that to transitioning over to entertainment, so radio. Mm-hmm. Did that for 4 years, transitioned over to on air, did that for like 6-7 years, and then worked my way up till finally, maybe 3 years ago, I finally earned enough money from one job.
Like, look,
being able to work in the entertainment field. So it took me that long.
But that's the path in a unorthodox,
yes,
in entertainment.
You gotta hustle until you make it. So I was working all these jobs and then, supporting, basically starving actor, what they call starving actor. And then I got to where I wanted to be, and then 3 years later I had a baby. So and I always wanted to have children. Right. So I just never understood what that meant for my career. I never understood that it meant like, okay, so now that my focus has always been my career, like I'll do whatever I need to do to get my job done. Now it's like, actually, my baby's crying and I'm gonna be late. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that just doesn't match up. So to me, it was the biggest issue to try to reconcile that. And I think even now I have issues with trying to figure out like what I'm going to do with my career and how does it look now. And I'm way more motivated.
Right.
Way more motivated because I have more of a reason. But it's just been harder.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I think with me, it was the same thing. Like I worked so hard. I've been in more of the creative tech space and worked my way up again. In the entertainment field, and then before we had the baby, I believe I was working. I was getting paid more than I've ever gotten paid. Right. We knew we wanted a baby. We knew we were planning to have a baby. So when it happened, it wasn't a surprise. Terrell had always been super supportive. Like if you didn't want to work, you don't have to, but it's your choice. Yeah. And I think when Halo came, we moved and everything. I wanted to be with her. I wanted to be with her. I stayed home with her for about over a year. In that, we opened up our co-working space. So I did have a little outlet, but she was right on my hip. It was different from, going, leaving, or just being by myself and getting stuff done and jumping here, jumping on a flight here, having the flexibility, just excel in my career. I think right now, we decided to put her in daycare about a year and 3 months. And that was hard. I was calling the babysitter all the time, popping up. It was like, dang, okay, if she's going to be here, I'm going to pay all this money because it is expensive.
It is very expensive.
It's so expensive for full-time daycare.
Yeah.
Then I need to make the most of it. I need to be like making the most of while she's gone away from me. So it wasn't until recently that I was like, okay, I want to go back into my field.
Yeah.
So I started freelancing again. And again, I'm making more money. Halo's still in daycare. Now that I'm having baby number 2, it's coming up again. Like, what am I going to do? But I think there's like this fire in me when it comes. Entrepreneurial life is great. Like, I love it. It's never going to go away. But something about just like having a career.
And with your passion.
Right. Yeah. With your passion and be able to make decisions and seeing things flourish and come to life. Like, that's so exciting to me.
So fulfilling.
And I know Tora always says that I'm much happier when I'm in an environment where there's like other people and there's other adults. Right. Like, so it does mean a lot to me. And then I think it's important for our kids to see, not like it's not important if you're not working, but for me, it's important for her to see me doing what I love to do. Yeah. You know, in all the fields of my life. Yeah. It's like, that makes me happy. Like, you know, having a career makes me happy. And I want to.
No, I'm with you. And I think that we should have that balance. But I always wonder, like, is balance really what we think it is? Or is it, like, you know, because I feel like, because that's such a weird word to be balance. Like, you're saying, oh, well, everything basically just works out, right? But if you look at it, does it truly work out or is something always lacking?
Something's always going to lack.
And I think that's what is more troubling about balance is the feeling like something's missing. Either I didn't do enough for my job or I didn't do enough for my career or I didn't do enough for my child. I didn't do enough for my spouse. Like, you always have that feeling. So is that really balance just because you were able to do everything but you still have that feeling?
I read a Shonda Rhimes book. I can't think of the name right now. And she just said, like, understanding that something is always going to lack is like better than trying to think that everything is going to be balanced.
Right.
So when she has to get dressed and go to an award show, but her kids want to play, you know, maybe she'll just stop and play with them.
Yeah.
You know, that's what she decided to do. I'm going to stop and play with them. I'm going to be late.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's the decision I made. So I just feel like as long as we're content with the decisions that we decide, then it's good. Like, it's good within ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and again, being intentional. So it's like, okay, we're going to have this whole week of nonstop back-to-back. You know, we're not going to see each other that much this week. And then at the end of the week, we're going to go have dinner together.
Yeah.
You know, or at the end of the week, I think on Sundays, it's like our family day where we go out to lunch. We'll take Halo to the park. We just try to spend as much time with her as we can because we know we have to work.
Yeah.
You know, we do have to work. We have to pay mortgage. We have to pay insurance. We have to pay daycare. We have to have food in the fridge, clothes. We have to work.
Yeah.
You know, so, or you struggle, yeah.
Girl,
we can downsize.
There's still struggles in that too. Like, there's always going to be some kind of.
Yeah.
So yes, balance. Is it real? Yes. But are you always giving up something? Yes. And compromising. Yes. Like, I think the key is to always be okay with the decision that you make.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Okay.
For sure.
Well, that's really good because that brings us to our final segment.
Before we get out of here, we like to have a segment called I'm Fine, where we like to leave you with a little bit of spiritual, motivational help.
Yes.
And today, it's on Megan.
Yes. So this is a quote. I was like, this goes very well with what we're talking about today. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. That's by Albert Einstein. And the reason why that like struck me was because it's like, okay, so if you're doing what I just said, which is like you look at each decision like, okay, I didn't get to do this for my job, or I didn't get to do this for my family, or I didn't, you know, when you're like, something's always going to be lacking. But if you keep moving over the course of your life, all those decisions balance out.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, but if you look at yesterday and the day before that individually, then of course you're going to be like, okay, there's no balance here.
Right.
But if you take all that collectively, there's balance. So keep moving, guys. Keep moving.
And I think everything prepares you for what's to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like harvesting, like gathering your harvest. Like right now, I feel like life is like crazy. We're doing all these things, but there's going to be a period that's coming up soon where we're just gonna be at ease, and we're gonna be like, wait, why is nothing going on?
Yeah.
But it's our resting time.
Yeah.
It's like God is like having us work, and then rest. And so
you're ministering to me.
Well, that was great. That was a great quote.
That was a good part. All right, you guys, it's been so fun hanging out with you. Thank you for taking a break with us. You can follow me, Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop on your social media.
Oh, me? Yeah. You want to follow me? She is Marisa J on Instagram and my rants on Twitter.
I love it. And you can follow our podcast at MNAB Podcast at Mommy. That's Mommy Needs a Break. MNAB Podcast on your social media. We're so grateful for you. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time right here on Mommy Needs a Break.